Hey everybody, welcome to the Amalgam Games Lab. I'm your host Shannon Haegler alongside Keena Johnson.
I think there's still gravy in my beard.
Oh, okay, that'll do. That's fine. That's all right. This is the show where we talk games in the gaming industry at large. Today we'll be discussing the Game Awards for 2018.
No longer the VGAs.
No, just
some
the-
people still abbreviate it to.
No,
Don't.
no, I think the common abbreviation now is TGA. The Game
Yeah.
Awards. TGAs. But before we get started, housekeeping. Will there be an Amalgam show this week? Probably,
If I can
hopefully.
wrangle everyone up.
Maybe, who knows? This might be the only thing, but that's okay. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Amalgam Show, where you can listen to the Amalgam Archaeology series. Questions, comment below, or email us at amalgamshow@gmail.com. And if you enjoyed, remember to hit that like and subscribe. Yeah, let's dive in. So we've got a few little bits and bobs coming, well, not coming out of, going into
Yes.
the Game Awards. Little things that are, rumors, speculation. Game Awards has turned into sort of the back end of the year pseudo E3.
Yeah.
Some announcements are made, some trailers drop.
I do see it as like E3 2
Yeah.
in terms of announcements, but it also celebrates the year, which is what E3 doesn't do. It just celebrates the industry as a whole. Like, look at games, aren't they awesome?
Yes, yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
It's just like they're awesome, and we're going to celebrate the best ones
Yes, yeah.
in a
yeah.
non-commercial way. But we're also going to sell you stuff like Kojima.
Exactly, yeah. I think the thing with the Game Awards is that I like the fact that something like this exists, especially because I was looking at, what was it, the Golden Joystick? It just recently happened where they were like, Game of the Year's Fortnite. Like, that didn't even come out this year. What are you doing? So, whatever.
It's how if they have their own definition for it, they can do what they want.
Yeah, that's true.
I can say
but
my game of the year is Tetris 1989.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that it's I think it is good for an industry of media of any kind to have some sort of award ceremony because regardless of your opinions on award ceremonies or whatever, it does help legitimize the industry in some sort of way, even if you don't think that the industry needs it or if you don't think that's a thing that's worth doing, that doesn't matter. That's fine. There's no harm in having it because then it also gives people outside of our industry something to look at.
Yeah.
And something to put us up on a pedestal that's a little bit higher. So I like the idea of the Game Awards.
I do like a centralized sort of third party one that's not like an IGN or a GameSpot or a Giant Bomb. Like everyone will all have their own thing. We'll do one probably next year. We'll see. Because I'm running out of time before I go back to Roma.
Oh, really? When do you head back to Rome?
Next week, probably.
Next week?
I'll sort out date. But anyway.
Yeah. Let me know so we'll have a look.
Yeah. So yeah, everyone has their own thing, but it's just good to have like a proper like streamed everywhere. Like IGN just usually like, boop, here's our thing.
Yeah. There's usually just like an article that goes up and it's like, here's our game of the year and another 9 games for reasons, and there's nothing really centralized. You're right. Centralized is good.
Yeah.
It just gives everyone sort of the chance to, like, regardless of who wins what, doesn't really matter. It's about the celebration of the industry and the medium.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, coupled with, Jeff Keighley running this thing and his connections in the industry means that we do get a lot of surprises, little bits and bobs, little announcements, trailers for things that we haven't seen yet. I think, I don't know if there's anything in here about it, but I think it wouldn't be crazy to think that perhaps we'll see a little bit more Death Stranding because we have every other year. So,
I didn't talk to you about this, but do you actually want to do a predictions part, like where we go through like what trailers and stuff will be there, or?
No, because I feel like when we do this, we'll be covering most of what I thought would be there.
Yeah, that's
but that's the thing. I think we'll run down the.
Categories.
Yeah, the categories that we give a damn about. There are a couple that we don't.
We can't talk about esports.
Yeah, and I don't give a shit about influencers. But we'll run down the categories that we have stuff to say on, and then have a chat about those, and perhaps each predict one of those and see where we get.
Yeah.
But let's start with probably one of the bigger story or the bigger rumors coming towards TGA.
There's all the stuff that I found, like a bunch of stuff is coming out today. Like, there's been a bit of build up, but a bunch of stuff today has been like, this is not this.
Yeah. So yeah, the big one that I saw was Dragon Age, that there will be something from BioWare and as it pertains to Dragon Age.
Coming out this month was their official release
yes,
that they put out.
We're coming out this month. I won't tell you where to look, I
Yeah.
think was Casey
I
Hudson's
think that
actual
was-
quote.
yeah.
Like,
I'm like, it's Game Awards, and
dumbass.
I don't think there's any other place you would do it, unless they're gonna reveal it themselves. But
Yeah, unless
when
they-
you have an announcement like that, like a please be excited, it's a
And EA is not one to do their own sort of announcement stuff for that kind of stuff because
Yeah.
they just don't. They don't care.
yeah.
They don't care. Dragon Age. Thoughts, opinions?
I'm excited.
You're excited? I hate Dragon Age.
You hate it,
Yeah, I can't stand the combat.
like of all of them.
Yeah,
Okay,
I have not found one that I like.
that's fair.
I really want to like that game because I like the idea of the world and the setting and story
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff, but I can't play that game for more than 3 hours before getting bored shitless.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Inquisition's probably the most fun. Like
Yeah.
it's streamlined, but it's still PC-esque in terms of like its old RPG roots, which is
Yeah.
what like Dragon Age Origins is just the worst for consoles, but
Yeah.
I still find it fun.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I'm happy for Dragon Age fans,
Yeah.
and I hope to God it's a good BioWare game because BioWare has just been
Yeah, they
taken out to pasture and shot in the face.
Yeah.
Like they just,
like Max's like
yeah, like visceral.
yeah. People are thinking like the report that came out today was that this won't come out till 2021, which people are speculating now that the reason EA is announcing this is Anthem might not be as good as people think.
Oh, no
or hope.
shit.
Yeah. So they're doing what Bethesda did and like, hey, Fallout 76 is coming, but there's also Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. Please don't hate us, which is really relevant now.
It's really relevant because we haven't talked about the Fallout 76
Fallout.
fucking shit show.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's
God.
I don't think Anthem will fuck up this bad. So
I mean, it's EA, so like
there could be something. But
EA is prone to when a company makes a big mistake. EA is prone to being like, "Hold my beer," and just showing us how fucking terrible a company can possibly be in that
I
situation.
mean, you're not wrong.
Like they have done it time and time and time again. Was it last year? Was Warner Brothers releases Middle Earth: Shadow of War, and it's a shit show when it comes to loot boxes, and people are not happy about it. They're angry about it, and then like 3 weeks later or 2 weeks later, Star Wars Battlefront 2 comes out, and EA's just like, no. You want to see some real loot box fuckery? We got some real loot box fuckery.
I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah.
It's just what they do. Like, I would not be surprised if we are all, like, currently we are all angry at Fallout 76, and deservedly so. That game is fucking trash.
Yeah, from everything I've seen about it, yeah.
It's bad. It's boring. It's empty. It's a game. It's a game with a content and a concept problem. I think is the thing. I think the initial concept, while when it was announced, I was like, interesting, has proven to be just flawed. It just can't be done. What makes Fallout is not compatible with an online multiplayer game. Sorry, can't be done.
For the way they've made it. Like, they could, I don't know.
I mean, with the engine they use, which they are apparently still fucking using. Did you hear that?
I do remember that now. I wanted to forget. I'm like, please fix it by Starfield.
No. Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 apparently will both be running on the same engine as Fallout 4.
I hope as a fan that this fuck show for them shows them like, okay, we need to build a new engine. Like they got away with it with Fallout 4 only just because
barely.
Witcher 3 came out the same year and basically.
But it's not just the game though in this situation.
Yeah.
Like with Fallout.
Oh yeah, as well. There's also
with Fallout 76. If the game was terrible, I would be able to shrug it off as it's an online game made by Bethesda. What did you expect? But it was the quality of the collector's editions, the broken economy, hey, by the way, there's not a canvas bag in this thing, it's a nylon bag, which to me, fucking Jesus Christ, people, get the hell over it. But
it was advertised.
It was advertised as that, and then the response was, it was too expensive, so we didn't do it. And now they're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that pisses me off. If they were actually in a position where they had said, we're not doing the canvas bag for these list of reasons, we apologize, if you want to get a refund, then I'd be like, fine, yeah, that's fine, whatever. Because if you really want the helmet, you'll keep the helmet.
Yeah.
But the fact that they were like, we're not doing anything about it. Oh, wait, no, here's 500 atoms. Actually, wait, no, here's the bag we're going to make anyway, which means they had the ability to make it in the first place, which means they had the capital to make it in the first place. They just decided not to.
Yeah.
And now are only doing it because of the PR backlash. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Like, that's a whole shit show that should never have happened. And the funny thing is, Bethesda's been banking on the goodwill from Skyrim for a long time now, and I think they burned the last of it.
Bethesda Studios, yes. I still like Bethesda as a publisher with all their other offshoots.
Yeah, as a publisher, but the thing is, the Bethesda published games, things like Doom, things like Prey, things like Dishonored, they don't sell gangbusters.
No.
Wolfenstein, these games are great. They're fantastic, objectively really good games. But they don't move the needle on the sales.
Yeah.
That's the Bethesda Game Studio games.
Yeah.
And that particular part of Bethesda, has burned away, I think, the last bit of goodwill they still had left. Because people were still able, even after Fallout 4, were able to go, well, at least there's Skyrim.
Yeah.
And they were at least able to go they lean into their Skyrim gag by putting Skyrim out on the Alexa or whatever. And that's fine and that's fun and jokey. But this particular release, I don't, if the next release they have is as buggy as Fallout 4 or Skyrim, if they don't make any improvements on that, I don't see a way of coming back.
Yeah, exactly. I think this will just be a blip in terms, a big blip in terms of the goodwill. Like if Starfield does not come out, like you said, I think we can be forgiven by that, but if Starfield's shit, it's going to be, it's a bad space game. Why don't you just make Elder Scrolls 6 already? Or it's going to anger people more.
Yeah, because you've already got that now. You've already got the ire of the community being like, well, why are you not making an Elder Scrolls 6? Why did you pump out this turd instead of making the game I want? Which we've discussed in the past why that's not a thing.
Yeah.
As far as I know, Bethesda Studios Maryland is the one working. No,
I don't know if they're doing. There's 3 Bethesda studios now. I don't know if they one per project. I think it's all...
No, they're not one per project. They all work together, but primarily the development on this one was given to one of the studios while the others polished up something else, I believe is what happened. After the release of Fallout 4, the other 2 studios were given to DLC and patches and stuff like that. And I believe it was the Maryland studio that took lead on Fallout 76. Something like that. It's in Danny O'Dwyer's documentary, A No Clip. I believe he talks about it in there. Yeah. He's got a full rundown of Bethesda, which is fascinating and absolutely amazing. And the company does seem like they make some good decisions. They make some bad ones. They make some good ones. This one seems like a bad one. But then he's also got a making of Fallout 76 documentary up there, which is kind of doesn't look so great in hindsight. I mean, the quality, obviously, his quality is amazing. I'm not, whatever. And he had a very poignant tweet about it, about his goal is never to advertise. He's simply here to tell the story about the game. So whether it's good or bad, or whether you like it or not, who fucking cares? This is how it was made.
Yeah.
And that's fair enough. Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. We should have more documentaries on bad games as well. We don't want just documentaries on good games. You want documentaries on bad.
He should do a Duke Nukem forever.
Oh, God, I wish he could.
Yeah.
But Randy Pitchford won't let that happen, because that's Gearbox. Fuck off.
This is the same situation with BioWare. Mass Effect 3 had a bad ending, according to the fandom. Mass Effect Andromeda is the worst game in the world, apparently. It's not, but I had fun with it.
It's not the worst game in the world, but,
It came out too glitchy. That game was fixed.
It's not
4 months later. That's when it should have been released.
Yeah, but the thing is, even fixing the glitches, it doesn't fix the problems with the story, with the characters, with the worlds.
I had no issues with them.
I do. Again, it's,
When you were playing Mass Effect Andromeda, which game were you comparing it to? Just as a game itself?
The trilogy.
The trilogy as a whole. Okay, because I was just comparing it to Mass Effect 1. Because to me, I think they're pretty contemporary, and because they're a fresh.
I don't think that's a fair comparison to make.
The story and all that.
In terms of the story, maybe, but the thing is, you've got to remember, and this is why I did compare it to the whole trilogy, is that Mass Effect Andromeda, regardless of whether it's the start of a trilogy or the start of its own thing, is taking place in between Mass Effect 2 and 3, which means it has 2 games of content to work with to then bring it forward. It has an entire world, society, universe to be drawing from to make it better. And it feels like I agreed with the decision of take it to a different galaxy. Get it away from the Reapers, so that way you can have yourself a situation where you don't have to focus on the same story we already know.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a great idea. But then to not only take it to a different galaxy, but completely and utterly disregard everything that happened before, because once they get there, there's no Quarians, there's no Solarians, there's no...
There are, but like they were on that ship, which was, I think, supposed to be DLC.
Uh-huh.
In a book.
And that's my pet peeve about that, where it's like, why would you take some of the most interesting, some of the most fascinating, some of the best storytelling from the previous games and relegate that to a DLC?
Yeah.
It doesn't. That's my anger with that game. And then also just having the story be like a little bit uninspired and a little bit rote. I was like, it's exactly as, you know, it's a paint by numbers sci-fi story, which is what differs it, because and I think, although I liked the idea of going to a different galaxy, I think, again, it's one of those things where the concept might be flawed and it's difficult to actually navigate that, because the thing that makes Mass Effect so great isn't the actual story, isn't the actual things that are happening through that narrative. It's the things you do around it. It's the side quests. It's the politics. It's everything that's happening around that, and how this universe or how this galaxy is working within the machinations of this universe-ending problem that they have faced. And the thing is, with the Andromeda Galaxy, rather than giving it, like, I never felt at any point during Andromeda that there was a society or
like an established,
or some sort of, like, you know, into workings or anything like that. And, you know, there's something to be said about exploring the frontier, but also I don't care. So when it came to Andromeda, like, I compared it to the trilogy as a whole. It was like, look, this is a complete story that you guys have told us, regardless of whether you like the ending or not. It's a complete story. So based on what they gave me in Andromeda, are you going to be able to build another complete story? And to me, the answer was no, not one that I give a shit about. And the answer was no, because they ain't touching Mass Effect for a while. That thing is iced. Yeah, if that. So
Dragon Age 4 will be interesting, because Dragon Age, for people who like it, there's no ill will towards it. Like, Dragon Age 2 has its own, like, it's just a weird thing where people have gone to like it just because it is just a focused open world city. It is reusing the same assets over and over and over and over again. But Inquisition came out. Inquisition is a great game. It got Game of the Year nomination because not too much came out that year. But like, so the Dragon Age is the untainted IP.
Sure.
Within modern years, and it'd be good to get another one.
Yeah, and let's hope it's good. Like, I hope for those fans. Like, I'm not going to touch it because I don't find them. I mean, if I see some stuff from that combat that changes a little bit in a way that I would find it more interesting, then maybe I'll give it a shot. But, you know, there's also the thing of, like, there's been enough of them where I feel like, am I going to be lost if I start playing this fucking thing? Because the Inquisition sounded like it did a lot of, like, nods and taps to other things, or...
Yes, it did, but you can also play that game. Like, that was my first Dragon Age game, so I went back and then played it again.
Right.
Dragon Age 4, the final expansion of Inquisition hints of, like, the story that is going to be Dragon Age 4.
Okay, cool.
So I don't know if it's going to continue that or if it's going to be something completely different.
Cool, fair enough.
We'll see if we get this trailer, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, well, yeah, I hope we get something, at the very least, some sort of clarification on what the hell's going on with BioWare. Because they do have their closed alpha coming up soon for Anthem, so we'll see how that goes.
I tried getting into that. The site crashed so many times, and people like, if the site to sign up to the alpha is closing, how the fuck do we think the servers are going to work, like a game server?
That's, yeah, I get that, but that's also two different things.
It is two different things.
Like a website server and a game server, they're two different things. But I mean, hey, EA could always spin that as being like, there were so many people that wanted to sign up for the Anthem beta or alpha that it crashed the servers. You know, like that's could possibly be it. There was just way too many people. They didn't think that many people would give a shit. So that's a good sign, actually. I think I'm fascinated by Anthem. I hope it's good. I really want it to be good. because I would love to play that game. It does look fascinating, and what I've heard.
It looks fun to play,
Yeah.
at the very least.
But I don't want it to be Destiny, where it's fun to play, but boy, oh boy, do I not want to do any of it. So we'll see how that goes. Metroid Prime Trilogy for Switch. I did not see this one.
So this has been a hope and a rumor that's been circling for basically the whole year.
Okay.
But now it's resurfacing really because there's listings on a Swedish retailer called iNet.
Mm-hmm.
That could just be listing it like the Walmart leaked it a couple at E3. Like there's gonna be a Splinter Cell game, and it never happened.
Yeah, that could just be retailers. I think we discussed this back when that happened. Of like, retailers will often try and make estimated guesses to get a product number into the system of like, okay, E3 is coming up. What games do you think will be announced? And someone will try and plug those in. Just be like, cool. And just in case that is announced, it means the day that it's announced, there is a product code in the system ready to go to take pre-orders. And then they can make the adjustments as necessary, like subtitles or whatever, like there's been a good example is like a FIFA and Call of Duties. As soon as the current FIFA and current Call of Duty launch, there is another product in the system for all retailers that just says Call of Duty 20X whatever year. Yeah. So for this year, it would say as soon as the Call of Duty Black Ops 4 released, there would be code right in every system. You could probably go to any JB Hi-Fi, EB Games, Target, wherever the fuck you go. There'll be a product code in the system that says Call of Duty 2019. And it's there ready to go the day after because they know with a certain amount of certainty that it will happen again next year. So, like, why not have it there ready to go?
And if it's not, like, delete it, no harm done.
Exactly.
Just, like, change the code to 2020.
Yeah. And, so they put that in there, and then that way they can... And then as soon as they give it a subtitle, you just change the name in the system, and it's done. It's already there. Yeah. So you don't have to... your customers don't have to go in and change it. You don't have to go in and change it. It's just there. So that's the kind of thing that, like, maybe... But, like, honestly, this seems like the kind of thing that I wouldn't do until after you've given us Metroid Prime 4.
People are thinking, like the thing that Bayonetta 3 was announced last year at Game Awards. They also announced after that Bayonetta 1 and 2 collection was coming to Switch. So I think they're thinking Nintendo's going to do the same logic. If they're going to do re-reveal Metroid Prime 4, actually give us gameplay, like story hints, whatever, and then. But then say, but while you're waiting, you can get Metroid Prime 3, February 22nd. Metroid Prime Trilogy, rather.
Okay, that would be fascinating.
For me, I really want to play these games because I've never played them. I've heard Metroid Prime is like one of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Metroid Prime fans are really, really passionate about Metroid Prime.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good series overall.
I mean, yeah, like I'm not sitting here going like they shouldn't do this. Like, absolutely, they should do this, 100%. I don't know if TGA is the place to do it.
If it's Nintendo doing a thing, I think.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I've got on that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just copy and paste Bayonetta's.
Yeah. CTR remastered?
Crash Team Racing.
You are kidding me.
Did you not see this?
No, I didn't. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I like Mario Kart. But it's just been Mario Kart for so long. Yeah. It's just been nothing but Mario Kart for so long.
What about Little Big Planet Racing?
Who gives a shit is my answer to that question.
What about Nintendo Kart Racing?
What?
Not Nintendo, sorry. Nickelodeon Kart Racing.
Shut up.
Featuring SpongeBob.
Oh, fucking great, eh? No, Crash Team Racing, like that's... Yeah.
A lot of people I've heard say it's better than Mario Kart 64.
It is. I think.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I've never played it properly. I played like Nitro Kart and Tag Team Racing on PS2, which I know is not Naughty Dog, but they were fun.
Yeah, no, they're good kart racers. But the thing is, like, there is... I guess maybe it's the... Maybe it's a signaling of like the age I was at the time or the age I am now, but like the way the CTR does its stuff is that it's a little bit more like it's more violent because it's Crash. There's a little bit more violence to it. So like people fucking explode and pixels go everywhere, and it's like it's cool.
Yeah.
You're throwing TNT and nitro and all that kind of stuff, and like I don't know what it is. Like, obviously the Mario Kart, there have been Mario Kart and Super Mario Kart, and then we have Mario Kart 64 and like every other iteration ever since. And like those games are great, especially the most recent iterations with 8 and 8 Deluxe. They're fan-fucking-tastic. But there's something about, just take a look at the Crash, like, Insane Trilogy.
Yeah.
Just look at the fervor that game created when it came out. It was unbelievable, the behemoth that thing became. Exactly. And like this, there's something about Crash Bandicoot. People love Crash Bandicoot, and not just people in the games community. People outside of it love Crash Bandicoot. There are people who, even though they're outside of the gaming community, but still play occasional games here and there, dismiss Mario because it's more of a child's thing.
Yeah.
Dismiss Mario because, like, they feel as though they've grown out of Nintendo and Mario as a whole. But for some reason, regardless of how old you are, Crash pulls you back every single time. If there's a Crash Bandicoot thing, people just want it, and they want it bad. And CTR is a great move. They should absolutely remaster it, and then not only that, they should absolutely make a new one. Like, fucking, what are they doing? Make a new Crash. Make a new CTR. Like, do the new shit.
That's what I think this is. I think this will be called Crash Team Racing. It's going to have updated controls, because I cannot imagine this still having PS1 controls.
No,
like,
God, no.
They
Yeah.
slightly updated the controls, so remastered Insane Trilogy.
Well, they gave it analog stick control for one.
As well, but like, rather than that, like, it was the exact same gameplay to emulate the PS1 version, and they did a good job at that. Those are PS1 games.
Yep.
They
certainly
I
are.
think, like, you can't release a PS1 kart racer when Mario Kart 8 Deluxe exists.
See, I think you can.
In terms of the controls, like, in terms of, like, just the way, like, they can't do a one-to-one control, like, the way the PS1 was.
I guess it depends on how the remaster is done, because I feel like because they'll obviously add in analog stick control, and that's pretty much all you need, because the rest of it's the same. Hold down X, move.
Yeah.
Everything else is exactly the same. I don't think control in a kart racer is really what you need. What you need in a kart racer is fun courses, fun races, and fun weapons.
Yeah.
If you put those three together, you end up with a really, really good kart racer. That's all you need. And there's just no one's been doing it except Nintendo for like a decade. Like, it's time for someone else to step up, and I think Activision has the IP to do it.
They have the IP. They have the resources. Too bad they couldn't put those resources to put something.
Although I'm very, very fascinated. Yeah, well, that's yep. No, that's fair enough. Nope, you 100% get to be bitter about that one. If anyone gets to be bitter about it, you get to be bitter about it. But I'm fascinated at Activision recently, with the moves they're making, because they've got Sekiro coming out. They're publishing Sekiro.
I remember that, and I always remember that game's coming. Always forget it's Activision.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
When I do remember, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You don't do this.
Yeah,
anymore.
they're publishing Sekiro. They have really, really, like, from their press releases, soured and turned on Destiny. They don't seem to be very happy with that game. And neither does Bungie, to be perfectly honest. They both seem like they seem like parents who are staying together for the kids. Like, it's a bit rough.
Technically indie at the moment, aren't they? But they're in a 10-year contract.
Yes. So they have, I think, 5 more years on that contract. 6. Because Destiny came out in 2014. I don't know how much of that is, like, I don't know how much of that 10-year contract is the development process, but I do remember them saying that Destiny was a 10-year plan for a video game, so 2014 is when that game came out, so they've got till 2024, they're stuck in that relationship. But I'm fascinated with Activision because they allowed the Crash Insane Trilogy to go ahead. It went gangbusters. They then decided to do Spyro. Subtitles aside, that game is apparently fantastic. I played a little bit of it, and it's really, really good. Like, forget how much you like that game. And then they have things like Sekiro coming out, and they just, Call of Duty's weird this year, but it's doing really well.
Yeah.
Not as well as they hoped, I believe, but it's still, yeah, but...
Oh, yeah.
But it's
still the best-selling game of the year.
Yes.
In terms of, like, NPD numbers, but Yeah.
but it's Activision, so they want $1 billion every time. But they just seem to be making moves that are a little bit odd, and I'm interested in what they do.
Off kilter for Activision.
For Activision specifically, because Activision has been the Call of Duty machine forever, ever since Modern Warfare 2. It's just what they do. They don't do very much else. But now that they're branching off and diversifying a little bit,
they don't have other IPs like the Marvel, like they don't have Spider-Man and Deadpool anymore.
Yeah, they kind of
just cash in, make money every.
Yeah, it always weirded me out that Activision didn't have any other IPs, but for some reason were just really hanging on to that Crash one. Like they were just like, nah. You're like, why? What are you doing with it? Nothing. Well, then what are you doing with it? Why? Give it to someone else. And they just wouldn't. And then suddenly Insane Trilogy comes out, and you start to realize they knew.
I think that happened because of Sony. I think Sony went to them like, hey, we'll help put resources in. We will help you make this happen.
Yeah, we'll do it all.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Activision has turned more and more into a company that's very much like. I'm trying to think of an analogy. They've kind of morphed into more like what Sega was doing for the last 5 or 6 years, which was that they didn't actually make mini games. They make like a handful of their own IPs, but they buy other developers and other things. Yeah. They buy other IPs and they just sit on that, and they're just like they'll put out a thing if there's no risk to them. Is kind of how I'm looking at it. So exactly the same way of Activision didn't put the money behind Crash, Sony probably did. Yeah. And when Sony said, we'll pay for it, we'll develop it, we'll do it, we'll take the risk, Activision went, yeah, fine, as long as we get the cut, that's all they care about. Yeah. But then they do something like Sekiro, which is completely out of left field. Yeah. So I don't know what they're doing. I hope the CTR thing is them going let's get weird with it, because Activision just being the Call of Duty publisher has bored me to tears for years. Yeah.
The reason this thing is even game rumored, IGN just got sent dice. It's out of nowhere, fuzzy dice. And it says, sliding into Game Awards on 12/6, anonymous. So, when IGN...
Could that...
like the Dragon Age before that game was revealed. Ignited Trilogy was revealed.
Reignited, yeah, Spyro, yeah. So, wait, but what's the fuzzy dice got to do with anything?
They just got sent to them, and then on the note that says what I just read out.
But
and fuzzy dice, they're from Crash Team Racing apparently. Something to do with Crash.
Okay, I play a lot of Crash. I don't remember fuzzy dice.
Everyone's reporting on it. It's like the weird.
It's super weird. Yeah, because I'm looking at that and going fuzzy dice could be fucking anything. Could be a GTA 4 remake for all I know. But yeah, I'm excited for more. One of the die only has a 6 on it, while the other die is a standard 6-sided. Okay, that might be maybe something. Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It added up to 21, perhaps hinting to June 24, the release date. So 6/21. That's when Crash came out around June.
Yeah. It was. It was.
I'm definitely expecting Spyro came out with
Yeah, sure. Cool. I hope so. I sure as fuck hope so. Yeah.
Which means, I don't know what that means, a Jack X remake.
Oh, God, I really want a Jack remastered trilogy.
Or you mean like a proper
Proper? They didn't get it. They didn't get a remaster, not on PS4.
No, they got just an up-res.
Yeah, they got an up-res of Jack 1. I don't even know if 2 and 3 are on the PS4 store yet.
No, I was talking about PS3.
Yeah. No, I've got that collection. That's fine, but I want a PS4 version of that shit.
Speaking of Naughty Dog.
Last of Us Part 2 won't be there. And...
Yeah,
sure, whatever. I don't want to see anymore. Just give me the fucking game.
I think we'll get... When do you think this game's coming out?
2020.
Yeah, same. I think this will be June 2020. Console launches. PS5, November 2020.
Yeah.
It'll be the exact same thing that...
Yeah, I don't think this game comes out next year.
No. Everyone's like, it's 2019. Like, no, it's not.
No.
I'm sure Naughty Dog would love it for it to come out.
They would... Yeah, absolutely.
It's not going to be there, so...
Yeah, there's a part of me that's actually...
There's a side to it with... If this game was there, then people would be, why didn't you throw a PSX then if you had a good trailer ready to go?
Yeah, I would... Yeah. I hope Naughty Dog goes to something new after this.
I think they will.
I don't want a Last of Us Part 3. I kind of don't want a Last of Us Part 3 ever. I would love to see them end the story in Part 2. Like, just end it. Be like, it's two parts. Get over it. Not everything has to be a fucking trilogy. Like,
I actually wouldn't mind that. Like,
yeah.
I'm just trying to think of two-parters. Like,
there are none.
There are.
Infamous. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got Second Son.
And that's also a two-parter.
Yeah, with First Light. Yeah.
I can't think of anything, but yeah.
Yeah, two-parters don't really exist because ever since
Star Wars. Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, I think, is the one that really... that really want to... Well, it's like movies tried to stay away from trilogies for a long time.
There were some, like Back to the Trilogy and Godfather.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, Back to the Future was a standalone story, and then they got the money to do the other two.
Oh, you mean like... Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Beginning out of...
Yeah, there's a lot of movies from, like, that time. Like, Terminator's a good one, Part 1 and Part 2. The third one doesn't come out until the mid-2000s.
And even the second one was like a 10, 12-year gap.
Yeah. They don't do a lot of that early on, but I think Lord of the Rings, the movie trilogy, is what kicks off the catalyst to everything being a fucking trilogy. Because that one was planned, processed, and done as a complete trilogy, and they saw the problem is that, as per usual, movie studios looked at the Lord of the Rings or looked at a successful thing and got the wrong lesson from it, which is like, oh, if you do everything in threes, it'll work out great. Instead of, oh, no, you need to plan your shit out well and also have a great story behind it. That will be what gives you a good movie.
So Warner Brothers made that and didn't even look at their own thing. Looks at Man of Steel, BVS, Justice League.
Yeah, they're fucking nightmare. But I think that would be fantastic if they just ended it in Part 2. Oh, I'd be so happy.
I think whether or not we get a Part 3, there will be a new IP, because Uncharted, they'd said many times that that's done.
Yeah.
For now, I just think someone will pick it up later.
Yeah.
And then, so that's a new IP sitting there for the next generation. Yes, I would like...
I was so overwhelmed and overjoyed with what Guerrilla was able to produce with Horizon Zero Dawn after doing the same shit for so long.
Yeah.
And between Uncharted and The Last of Us, I want Naughty Dog to do something different, because they're really good at gritty realism. Something new. I don't care what it is. Even if it flops, just go somewhere different. Do something different, because I think they've obviously got the ability to do amazing storytelling.
Yeah.
Throw some good gameplay in there, for the love of God.
Yeah, that's something they do.
Yeah.
They've got fine gameplay.
It's fine. Exactly. But Naughty Dog games are always the games that I look at and go, cool, easy.
That's fair.
Let me go through this thing, because I don't want to wrestle with their controls and I don't want to get good at their combat. I just want to see their story. But if they were to create a game that had really good combat and really fun, maybe I might try and do that.
I did play Last of Us on the harder difficulty when it came out. They introduced another one later, and I hadn't fucked with that one yet. But I like Last of Us gameplay. I think it's good.
Yeah, it's good. It's not a gameplay. It's not a gameplay first game.
No.
And the thing with the Uncharted games is that game is only good if you put it on easy, in my opinion. That's the best way to do it, because then you actually are the swashbuckling fuck that is Nathan Drake, this chuckle fuck who just lucks his way through life. You put that thing on easy and you just wander through, you're shooting it's great. But you put it on any other difficulty and it's like, why is this so fucking hard? Why? Like, you're creating an Indiana Jones movie here, basically, and it's just too difficult. Indiana Jones doesn't face this kind of adversity. Yeah, he gets beaten up, but he bounces back. Anyway. So yeah, no Last of Us, that's fine. And then we're looking at DC Warner Brothers, which another non-announcement.
Yeah.
No Rocksteady.
No, Rocksteady's not going, and we're not making a Superman game, which has been rumoured since E3.
It's been rumoured since before that.
Oh, there was rumours that, like, someone's making it, but, like, it got built up then. And then they're like, we're not making Superman. I'm like, where the fuck are these leaks coming from then? And then, what the fuck are you guys doing if you're not doing anything?
Not just that, but like, if they're not making a Superman game, why didn't they just come out and say that 6 months ago?
I know.
Like, why does it take this long for you to go, oh, no.
tell us. It's been 3 years now.
What was the last thing they worked on?
Arkham Knight, 2015.
Jesus, it has been 3. Yeah, come on.
And
Although, to be fair, maybe they're pulling a Santa Monica.
that's what I'm thinking.
Maybe they're doing something...
they're probably starting a completely new IP. They're rebuilding an engine.
Yeah, and if they are, you need at least 5. So, like, if it's been 3 years, like, give them time. I hope they're pulling a Santa Monica, because what Santa Monica was able to pull out with God of War this year is unfucking believable. Yeah. So, I hope that they do something like that. I hope that what we see next out of Rocksteady is completely out of left field.
Yeah. Redefine the action genre again.
Or some other genre. Why fucking go stick with action?
A turn-based game.
Yeah.
Turn-based Batman.
Yeah. No, these guys are going to make a puzzler.
Tetris 2.
It's Rocksteady Picross.
And then WB came out today, and their vice president, executive producer rather, Valerie Vezina, tweeted a picture of the back of her shirt was a picture of the Court of Owls on it. The Court of Owls are a Batman villain, a recent one, and they're really good villains.
Okay, so they're making a Batman game.
It seems like it.
Another one.
Yeah, based on a T-shirt design.
Can we put Batman to sleep in all media?
Yes. If this game...
Can we please? Because I love Batman Begins. I love that movie. I like it better than The Dark Knight. I think The Dark Knight is fantastic, but I like Batman Begins better.
I can see why. Yeah.
I tolerate The Dark Knight Rises. I prefer Batman Begins because I think the story in it is great, and what they did to Batman and the character and the world, and being one of those very first early looks at like what a superhero in real world would look like is brilliant. Yeah. The Dark Knight, I think, is fantastic. I think it's a great Joker movie. I think, and this is a really, really crappy thing to say that I've always said to a lot of people, though, is I find it really unfortunate that Heath Ledger died when he did, because I feel like Aaron Eckhart's performance as Two-Face is overlooked. Because I think his performance in that movie is fan-fucking-tastic as well. Yeah. And I think everyone's performance in that movie is actually stunning. Yeah. But because of the circumstances surrounding Heath Ledger, his performance stands out, which is absolutely fair, because his performance is a masterstroke in that movie. But I also think that because of it, Two-Face doesn't get as much shine, and he's my favorite DC villain. Yeah. So I think that movie is again a wonderful masterpiece, and Dark Knight Rises is good as well. I think it's serviceable. Yeah, you know, it didn't have to be the greatest thing ever. And obviously, when you look at the history of it, Nolan was not happy to do that. He didn't want to do that movie.
Yeah, he was always iffy about it.
Yeah,
I think he did want to use the Joker for that.
Because didn't he?
Made Inception.
Yeah, like the deal was like, fine, I'll make the other Batman movie, but you let me make whatever the fuck I want else. And they're like, fine, do whatever. And then he made Inception, which was I think a masterpiece. Yeah. I think that movie's a masterpiece of film. And then from there you get like the Batman games, because that's around the time that like Arkham Asylum was coming up.
Arkham was, 2009.
Yeah, so Asylum, and I think Rises is 2012, if I remember.
Rises and
Arkham City.
City was 11. Rises was
12. Origins
was 13.
And then Arkham Knight 15. And then coupled onto that is things like BVS and Justice League and the myriad of other Batman properties, Lego Batman, like just Batman. I just fucking can't stand it anymore. I loved those first few movies, and I wish they just left them alone. And same with the games, like Batman's great. Let him rest. Let the fucker take a breather.
He literally, spoilers for the end of Arkham Knight, he dies.
Yeah.
He pretty clearly dies, but then it's like, but does he? I'm like, he does. He dies. Let's just be a universe where he dies.
Just pick a different superhero.
Yeah. The other rumor is that if someone was working on a Batman Beyond game, if this was Terry McGinnis fighting the Court of Owl, I'd be interested in that.
Yeah, I mean, again,
I know it's Batman, but at least not.
It's just-
Wayne. Terry has a lot more personality.
I just don't see why, and this is a bit more than games, I guess, but I just don't see why DC seems so fucking fixated on their two majors with Batman and Superman, when Marvel has gone on the other side and proven that you can pick up an obscure superhero, someone people don't really know about, and make it work. And I just don't see why they don't do that with, like, at least the fucking video games. For the love of God, give me something different. Because it's not just Batman that I'm sick of, but I'm kind of sick of Batman combat.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
I want a new
thing.
thing.
Have done it not as good as Rocksteady.
Enough people have done it better than Rocksteady.
Who do you think done it better?
I think the Spider-Man game was better.
Yeah.
I think it's more fluid.
Yeah.
I find it more fun.
It's more fun. Like, I think Batman meant to be slow and brutal.
Yeah.
Do Batman, which is they're very distinct.
I think the combat in Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah. I always think that was one of the things I thought of, because, like, when you're zipping around across that fucking...
Yeah. When you unlock those abilities in the first one, not the second one, but the first one, the second one I haven't played that much of, so...
The second one has the exact same ability, you just unlock them later.
Yeah, but, like, the first one, like, by the end of that, like, that thing's fucking amazing. And because you got that sword, you get those brutal kills. Like, I think that game plays better than a Batman game.
Yeah.
I think it's been done... Yeah, like, I think it's been done enough, and then, you know, if not better, put into a context that makes it feel better.
Yeah.
That, like, if someone was to just go back to stripping it down to Batman combat and made another game, I just don't think it's going to work anymore. I think people are over it.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but I hope not. God, I hope not.
I'd be... If it was a Nightwing game, that'd be good, but I think they killed him in the VR game.
I just don't. I forgot about the fucking VR game.
Yeah.
God, and there was that Telltale game too.
Oh, that was good, though. But yeah, no, I see...
Yeah, that doesn't fucking matter anymore, does it? Like, the whole thing's under. Like, it just... They hoard out Batman more than a lot of other companies do in their kind of IP stuff. It's gone to so many different places. Like, just put him to bed.
I think you're going to get sick of Spider-Man soon, because we had Civil War, Homecoming, Avengers, the game. We're getting the animated movie this month.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be the sequel to all of those, except for...
Well, the thing is, okay, so here's the difference between Batman and Spider-Man.
Spider-Man has hope.
Spider-Man's good. No. Spider-Man... When it comes to Spider-Man in those movies, like Civil War, it's not his movie. He's a bit part.
Yeah.
He plays a very small role. He's there, he's in and he's out.
I think we just...
Homecoming is his own movie, and it's good. It's a really good standalone movie. Infinity War, again, bit part player. He's there for bits. You know, he has the emotional moment at the end. Spoilers. But he's not there the entire time. The focus is not on him.
As opposed to Batman.
Exactly. Batman is always the central focus of his story. Even in BVS, where you're like, well, maybe
Which
we'll...
is supposed to be a sequel to Man of Steel, and
ends up being Batman's origin story again. Like, we get to be reintroduced to this character we've been introduced to about 4 fucking times. Yeah. And I get, like, there is a certain amount of Spider-Man fatigue. I understand with, like, we had the Raimi trilogy, and then we had the Ultimate, like, the Amazing Spider-Man double-up movies, and then there's a 2-parter.
Which was meant to be a 4-parter.
Yeah, but no, I'll leave it there. But you've got, you know, those movies. But the thing with the way Marvel has done it is that, like, it does feel different. Every time we get Spider-Man, he feels different and invigorated and new. Yeah. In my head, like, when you look at the Nolan Batman trilogy and the Batman trilogy of video games, they kind of they work together in its weird, like, there might be different universes that don't actually exist together, but they have that same aesthetic and feel. Whereas Spider-Man is always very different, and like I said, in some of the movies he appears in, he's only there very briefly. And it's enough for you to be like, yeah, Spider-Man, I would totally see another movie with him. And then you do, and then it's great. And with the video game, there have been 1,000 shitty Spider-Man games.
And a couple good ones as well.
That doesn't mean, like, this particular game that came out this year is just great. It's a great video game.
I would say amazing.
It's a really good video game. But it's a thing that also survives on its novelty.
But I think as well, it's not teenage Spider-Man again. It
No.
is 26-year-old Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Like, he's established. Kind of like what the Batman thing, but we're kind of used to that Batman with Batman, like, in the comics, even in the Tim Burton movies. We had an established Batman.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Not
That's what made Batman Begins so good.
The proper origin, which we
Yes.
haven't real. We've seen his origin, but not a Batman coming up like his training.
We never delved into it.
Yeah.
We never saw his first battle against his first big foe.
Yeah.
That was the first time we saw that. But when it comes to Spider-Man, it's just like this game was excellent. It's a good groundwork for what I think will be probably several more Spider-Man games. And I'm happy for them to do that. And I'm also happy to acknowledge the fact that in 5 years' time, if they continue to do the same thing that Rocksteady did, I will get sick of the Spider-Man game. But I'm not right now.
Yeah.
I'm sick of Batman because it's just been happening so often.
Just a quick note, with Batman, my favorite character is not Batman, because he has so many good, like all the Robins, all the Batgirls, all Alfred, everyone but Batman is the most interesting Batman character.
Yeah.
Have a Robin game. Like, I think DC is realizing that because they're putting the Batman movie on the back burner for now because Ben Affleck can't commit to anything. But then, like,
Honestly, if I was in his position, I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
Look at what they've fucking done to those movies. They're goddamn shit shows from start to finish. Aquaman comes out on Boxing Day and I don't give a fuck.
Apparently the movies will be good.
I like Jason Momoa. I don't care.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
It doesn't matter whether the movie's good or not. I have complete and utter apathy towards it, which means even if it's fantastic, I'm gonna go in there going, oh, that was better than I thought. I'm not gonna get that fervor I got from seeing the first Iron Man movie, where I went out and was like, what the fuck was that?
They are focusing on other Batman properties like Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Which will feature Harley Quinn, because that's their other third stream of income is Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
There's going to be a Batgirl movie. There's going to be other things. I'm like, yay.
Yeah, but that doesn't help their video game output,
No,
because they still like honestly, a Superman game.
By Rocksteady is what we want. I want them to be lying, like David Jaffe did at E3 2011.
Yeah.
Like, when like Twisted Metal's not coming, and then it came to E3.
Yeah.
And it came out on a fucking ice cream truck.
Yes.
And I saw that, but that story is so good, and I want something like that to happen again. I want everyone to lie, just blatant face lie.
Yes.
Oh.
Like I want to, like, the thing with Superman is that in my mind, Superman is the most compatible with video games that there is.
Interesting, continue.
Because he's OP.
Okay.
The general consensus about Superman is that he's OP.
Yeah.
He can fly, he's basically invincible.
Yeah.
He's got all those powers of like laser eyes and cold breath and all those ridiculous atomic farts or whatever. And he's got all these abilities and powers that, you know what the best superhero game is?
Just Cause 4?
No. Saints Row the Third. Where you can just go around and just fucking do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Just do whatever you want. Or Saints Row 4.
Saints Row 4.
Saints Row 4. Yeah. Just fucking fly through the air. Like, give me the ability, give me an open world with a Superman and let me just do whatever the hell I want. Yeah. Let me be goofy with it. Create a story and do your drama thing and do all that kind of stuff. But then at the end of the game, drop me into an open world and let me just play with all of Superman's powers in an open world and see what happens. That character is suited the best to open world video game hijinks more than any other superhero on the face of the planet. Maybe with the exception of Iron Man and Spider-Man. Because of the way they move through the space. Like, I would love an Iron Man game because I think I know I don't want it to be called Anthem though. I want an Iron Man game because I think that moving. Because then I would like to be able to, you know, to fly through cities and stuff like that and have like those missiles and all that kind of shit. It's really cool. And Spider-Man has the unique swinging mechanic. Batman at this point, like, he's a fucking wingsuit.
Yeah.
Like, if I want to play a Batman game, I'll play Just Cause 4. Like, I don't need.
Just Cause, like, watching my brother play Just Cause 3 wasn't like, this is the best Superman game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in terms of, like, he's blowing shit up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know Superman never kill people, but he blows shit up. He can fly through the air. Like with that wingsuit, you're just flying. You're not gliding. You're flying.
Yeah, pretty much. Because you can use the grappling hook to pick up more speed and all that kind of stuff. You're basically flying, and it's fucking great. So if they were to give me Superman in an open world, give me a story that actually gives it like that I care a damn, give a damn about, and then I could play through that and be like, oh, cool, what a Superman story. And then they just drop you in and go, cool, here's all the powers. Do whatever you want. Go kill people. Like, let us, like, and I know this probably won't happen because of the way IP works and DC's all over, but let us break from Superman if we want. Like, let us, make an Infamous game, but Superman. Let me be an evil Superman. Let me be an evil Superman. I want to be an evil Superman.
You're playing Justice.
Ugh. I'm not a fighting game fan.
That's fair.
Which will actually be really fascinating if we get to talk Game of the Year, which I hope we will. If we can't this month, we can just do it at the start of January. Yeah, we'll just do it that way.
That's when other people do it.
Yeah, because that's when because then we can even include all the games of 2018 because we can get right up to December 31st. And that'll give me a chance to actually play some like Smash Brothers and shit. Yeah, buddy. All right, let's move on to our predictions part. We've got categories here. Why don't you just drop down to the bottom because we'll do Game of the Year last. Cool. So we'll start at the bottom. Oh, we did keep this one in. Content Creator of the Year.
Nominees are Dr. Lupo, Myth, Ninja, Pokimane, and Willy Rex.
Okay, I give fucking Ninja, but isn't he a piece of shit? Isn't he?
He's not a piece of shit. Like, he's not PewDiePie. He said at the end, I suppose he's PewDiePie.
Yeah. Because I thought he said, isn't he the one that said some dumb shit about, like, not having women on his stream? Yeah. Like, that's like him?
Yeah.
God, I hope they don't give it to him.
They're gonna.
Pokimane sounds like a Pokemon YouTuber, so I'm going to go with that.
Yeah. So does Willy Rex. I don't know why.
I'm waiting for this to happen because every year they've given the award to Content Creator of the Year. The following year, that content creator has fucked up in a major way and turned into like a super shit bag.
I have heard that. The only one that didn't happen to was Greg Miller.
Yes.
It was the first one. He did that good speech and then
yes.
Kind of funny. They're doing the showcase, but 2 or 3 days after this.
Yes, yeah, like 60 games or some shit. Like he's doing well for
I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah.
It's at 2 a.m. Why am I like this? I have no job, that's why.
But yeah, like every year that there's been a content creator of the year, the following year something shitty happens. Like last year was Dr. Disrespect, I believe, won that one, and he like divorced his wife and like said some really nasty shit online, and it turned out he's not a good dude. Like they milkshake ducked him. Like that's it was bad. He was in milkshake. You don't know that? Oh, it's an internet thing. It's like I really like this milkshake duck. Turns out the milkshake duck's a Nazi.
Okay.
Yeah. It was something about it. It was a video game that got announced, and it had something to do with milkshakes and ducks. I can't remember the exact story. It might have been.
Milkshakes and Nazis.
I think they did that because of this event. Like they think they put that reference in there because of this thing. Basically, there was a small video, like a indie video game that came out, and it was like, oh, like the little like indie montage in some of them. Yeah. And everyone's like, what the fuck is that? That thing looks fucking awesome. And everyone was praising it, and it was awesome. And then it came out later that he's like a racist and a Nazi, and like, oh, he's got some really bad views. We really shouldn't be giving him airtime. Oh. But yeah, that's basically happened to every content creator of the year that has ever happened at the Game Awards. So
It's gonna be Ninja then.
I fucking hope
it's
not.
already happened. I don't think that can.
Well, the only thing that will happen is that like
This is user voted, by the way. I'm pretty sure.
This is user voted. Yeah, so it probably will be Ninja. But the thing is, I think what ends up happening is that they get this award of Content Creator of the Year at a fairly, not prestigious, but like it's a more well-respected than anything else. They get this award, and then immediately after it goes to their heads, because the thing that I always found fascinating about these kind of content creators or influencers or anything like that is that they, for the most part, they're just regular people. They're just dudes and girls and people who just decided to stick a webcam in their room and just talk at the camera while playing video games or something like that. They've never been... If you're an actor and you become famous, there is a long road that happens there that people don't realize. Like, it's very rare that you get I was sitting at a bus station and someone said, do you want to be in a movie, and now I'm a star. Mostly those actors will start with an acting training school, then they've done, live theater performances, and then they do bigger theaters, and they do a couple of television spots, and then a television show, and then a couple of short films, and then movies, and then they finally get their big break, and now they're famous. And while you're going through that, speaking from experience as someone who's actually done live theater, there is this like small growth of like, no one knows who I am. No one knows who I am. Oh wait, there's a couple people waiting outside the theater door looking for me, wanting to say hi. Oh cool, I have to interact with random people who I've never met before, who I have no idea who they are, and they will never meet me again, and they're asking for my signature on a piece of paper. Oh, this is weird. And you have to learn how to interact with that. And as you go up the chain and become more popular and more famous, you deal with larger groups of it until eventually you're just used to having a bunch of people around you, and it just becomes second nature. These people don't have that. Yeah. They're literally on their own. Yeah, and then it's just the chat, and it's not actual people. And all their performance is done in their room or in their basement. And all that kind of stuff. And it never dawns on them, the popularity or the reach that they have. And then when they get something like this, it doubles down on their head of like, yeah, man, I'm famous. And they get a little bit more confident and they say something stupid. And if there's one thing I've learned on the internet and watching content for the last decade is that the second you say something stupid and the chat turns on you, you're done. Yeah. Like, if the chat turns on you, that's it. Game over, man. Yeah. Especially when you look at YouTubers like Logan Paul, and even PewDiePie to some extent, like, people have been turning on him, and it's not... I don't think his empire is what it used to be. I'm sure he's still fucking loaded, but I feel like YouTube is, over the last several years, been spreading out a bit more, like more diversifying rather than the one person. But yeah, you're right. It'll probably go to Ninja, and we'll probably regret it. Yeah. Best debut indie game. We've got Donut County, Florence, Moss, The Messenger, and Yoku's Island Express.
I've heard of Yoku's Island, but the rest of I've only played Florence, but the rest of these I've heard are so good.
Yes.
This is a good category.
It is really, really good.
I really want to play Donut County, but it's too expensive.
I think Donut County will win it. That's my guess.
Yeah.
It's between that and The Messenger for me, but I think
that's what it is.
I think Donut County will take it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I feel Moss needs to get attention, but it won't.
I think it being nominated is a good attention seeker, but also I think it's nominated in Best VR AR game, that's good. You're probably right. The best multiplayer game is Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Destiny 2 Forsaken, Fortnite, Monster Hunter World, Sea of Thieves. Okay, 2 of these don't belong on this category. Because they're shit.
Okay, I thought you were going to say because they didn't come out this year. Okay, Fortnite didn't come out this year.
No.
Okay, so Fortnite and Forsaken? Is that your pick for shit?
No, Destiny 2. Well, yes, Forsaken, yes. But Sea of Thieves? The fuck is that doing there? It's barely a game.
The only thing I can think of is that it's filler. Like, I can't think of any other multiplayer games that can come out this year in terms of that kind of stuff.
Do they have a separate category for fighting game?
Yes. Which I think I deleted because I was just going to say Dragon Ball because that's all I knew. It was like Blaze Blue and...
Because I think Dragon Ball Fighters will win the fighting game category.
Probably.
I think it will. But like, I just don't... Like, best multiplayer game. Like Battlefield 5 doesn't get in there?
One, it wasn't out by the time this list came out. 2, Battlefield 5 is not good from everything I've heard.
Okay. Multiplayer game.
PUBG came to PS4 this week.
Yeah. There's got to be something else other than Sea of Thieves. There's got to be. Surely there's some Steam trash game that is better than Sea of Thieves.
I played. They're all single player. And Smash isn't out, so Mario Party.
And I guess I need more definition on this. Is this competitive multiplayer, or is this does this include cooperative multiplayer?
What would you say co-op?
Like things like Far Cry 5. Like, it has a multiplayer mode that's, like, fine. But I like riding elephants and flying helicopters and shooting people. I mean, it's not elephants in this game, it's bears, but, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, there's cooperative multiplayer stuff that could be considered good. Like, okay, fucking, I would put Super Mario Party on here over fucking,
I think there is like a family party game thing.
Whatever. Sports and racing game. I think that one's dumb. I think, given the way this industry is going, I think either Fortnite or Call of Duty will win that.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just highlighting them so they actually know what we said.
Yeah. Yeah, I think either Call of Duty or Fortnite. What's your gut?
Call of Duty is really good this year, and people are talking about it because Blackout. I don't think anyone would be talking about this game if Blackout didn't exist. The start of the year, people were fucking super into Monster Hunter.
Yeah, that is true.
Monster Hunter was the shit in January.
But I get the feeling.
Nothing else playing at that time.
But if you've ever listened to anyone do a game of the year, anything, they always talk about how the earlier in the year you release, the harder it is to win these categories because you forget about those games.
Yeah, but if it's on the list, you'd be like, Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I still don't think it's going to win, though.
Yeah.
Because, like, Monster Hunter, that's a cooperative multiplayer game. And I guess Destiny 2 belongs on there if you're taking into account the cooperative aspect of it rather than just the competitive multiplayer. Yeah, like if you're not talking about just the Crucible, if you're talking about the whole multiplayer experience with the raids and the actual story missions that you can do with each other, if you add that into it, then yes, Destiny belongs on that list. I think it'll be either Call of Duty or Fortnite, and I think, though it pains me to say, I think they'll pick Fortnite.
I think so too. Fortnite took off this year.
Yeah.
Like, really took off.
I mean, it took off last year. And this year is...
At the same time, PUBG took off. And so there was like that thing, but then PUBG was the game at that time.
Yeah.
And then when that...
Petered
Fortnite
out.
was getting better and better and better. That
Yeah.
They've
been doing a lot of content drop this year, and yeah. Yeah, okay, Fortnite. We'll choose that as
multiplayer.
multiplayer.
Going to win as well, even though I don't want it to win.
Yeah. But sports or racing game, FIFA 19, Forza Horizon 4, Mario Tennis Aces, NBA 2K19, or Pro Evo Soccer 2019. Yeah, I think Forza Horizon 4 is a pretty solid.
People are like, that was good. And it's on Game Pass, so more people will probably try it out.
That's a pretty solid one there. Yeah. Best VR AR game: Astrobot Rescue Mission, Beat Saber, Firewall, 0 Hour, Moss, and Tetris Effect. I believe Astrobot wins this.
I don't know, because this fucking list, I have not played any VR games, which sucks. But this list, every one of these games I've heard is amazing. I played Tetris, but not a
Yeah, I think these are all great games. They're all fantastic.
This is the list of games I want a VR for.
Yes, this is the list. This is the list of games that makes VR make sense. Yeah. This is the first time in a long time that I've been looking at VR and going, huh. But I think Astrobot wins it, given by how much people have been talking about that, like it's fucking Mario 64 for VR.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of these other games come close to doing that.
Yeah. Beat Saber is super, super fun from what I've heard. Tetris is super, super fun. Firewall's like, oh, this is the shooter that works in VR. And it's multiplayer. Like, multiplayer VR, I know PC has it, but it's not really a thing for PSVR.
Yeah.
And then, I just think, again, Moss. Because Moss and Astrobot, from what I've heard, are very, very similar.
Yes.
Some people played Astrobot.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the same people said they played Moss, but there's something about Astrobot that's different. I guess I would have to play it to actually see. But apparently there's something about it that's just like, it feels like a masterpiece, like a game that might change things for VR. So I think Astrobot's going to win it.
Yeah, so do I, which is, I want it to be Beat Saber, but I feel it's just a rhythm game in VR. So
yeah, I mean, for me, I want Tetris to win that one, because I think it'd be fucking great for Tetris to win an award in 2018.
Exactly. That's why it's so weird that, like, it's in my Game of the Year running. So I'm like, it's just Tetris. Like,
yeah.
You can't fuck it up.
You can't. Well, you can. You can fuck it up. They have fucked it up.
You're right. You're right. But, yeah, it is weird. Best mobile game.
Donut County, Florence, Fortnite, PUBG Mobile, and Reigns Game of Thrones.
It's probably
it's a Clash of Clans clone. Yeah.
Clone of Clans. To me, I actually have an opinion on this. Well, I've played Fortnite on mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Have I?
It's the same as
Yes.
playing Fortnite on any other
It
device.
is. It
Because
is.
Fortnite's a buggy mess.
No, it's not.
It is. It's clunky.
It's not as bad as PUBG.
No, I didn't say PUBG was good.
I'm just saying, when I think of Fortnite, I think of a relatively smooth experience.
It's relatively smooth. I just don't think it. Like, I don't think playing it on a phone gives you any less fidelity than playing it on a PlayStation because it's that fucking like low.
Basic.
Yeah, like yes, basic. That's the word I'm looking for. It's your basic bitch battle royale game.
I think this is the category where Florence wins. Because Florence is a mobile game that everyone, or some people play this year, like, holy shit, this is a good mobile game. Like, it's just a good, solid game. It's like a puzzle game.
Mm-hmm.
It's barely a puzzle. Like, the idea is that you're meeting someone for the first time in a romantic way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, you're like sliding pieces into the puzzle.
Oh, okay.
And like, as you are getting more interested in the puzzles become easier.
Right.
Because you can more easily talk to them. But
Cool.
if you're having like arguments, the puzzles get like squared off and like harder to.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's like no one talks in that game.
Okay.
It's all art and puzzles, and it's really good.
Okay. Yeah, I'll defer to you on this one
It's
because
like $3, check
yeah.
it out, everyone.
Yeah. I'll defer to you on this one because I don't give a shit. Well, apart from Donut County, which I would like to think that would win as many categories as it can.
Yeah.
But
is between, unless people like, yo, Fortnite runs really well on mobile. Let's
Yeah,
give it to that.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I guess.
or depending on how much money Tencent decides to give the Game Awards this year, whether they can bribe their way to a PUBG
I
win.
don't think that's
No.
gonna be a thing. Ooh, okay, so yeah,
Yeah, let's put in Florence.
I just looked at the next category, which I'm excited to discuss.
Best performance: Brian Deckard as Connor. Deckard? Yeah, you're right. It is Deckard. Brian Deckard as Connor in Detroit Become Human. Christopher Judge as Kratos in God of War. Oh, Jesus H.
Great name.
Melisanthe Mahut as Cassandra in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Roger Clark as Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2. And Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker in Marvel's Spider-Man.
A fucking category.
It's great. It's great.
Video games are cool.
That's fucking fantastic. Apart from maybe Detroit Become Human.
I think that's the weakest decision here.
Yeah.
Like, probably the best from that game, which is a narrative game, which is probably why they chose him.
Yeah.
I haven't played Detroit, but
Yeah.
yeah. For me, this is between Christopher Judge and Yuri.
I understand. I would totally agree with you. But pragmatically, I think Roger Clark will win this.
Yeah, from everything I've heard about that game, and what he has to do in that later part of the game.
Arthur Morgan's performance is fan-fucking-tastic. Like, he is the only character in that game that while I was playing it that I liked. Like, I like Arthur Morgan. And I've had this debate at work. I don't think he's a good person.
Yeah.
I just think that he's got such a... There's a delivery to everything. Every line in that game delivered by Arthur Morgan comes with the weight of the world on it. Like, just an old, grizzled, haggard, like, just motherfucker's seen some shit.
Yeah.
And every single line is dripping in it, and it's just... Red Dead Redemption 2, not my game of the year. Not by a long shot. But that performance, and a lot of the performances in that game, actually, like the performance even aside, the sheer volume of lines that he had to record is incredible.
Yeah.
Because every single encounter that you have in that game has like a slightly small variant on the lines that he'll deliver. The one that I kept getting told about was that if you go up to someone on a horse and you greet them and say hello nicely to them, he'll say something along the lines of, "Hey, it's a nice horse you got there." And then the guy goes, "Oh, thank you." And then you can antagonize, and immediately after it says, "Oh, when did you marry it?"
Jesus.
And it's like it's always related.
Yeah.
Like the dialogue in that game does move and flow in a very natural way, and I love Christopher Judge's Kratos. I think it's fucking fantastic. I think he's a brilliant cast. I think Peter Parker, Yuri as Peter Parker is great as well. I think Peter Parker Spider-Man can get a little quippy and a little bit annoying at times. We're like, just shut the fuck up.
Me, that's not an issue with me.
Yeah.
But I get why people would think that.
Yeah, I think there's a certain point in that game you're like, shut the fuck up. When it comes to Cassandra's performance, I don't know enough about it.
She's really good. Like,
Yeah.
especially compared to Alexios, which I've seen clips of him as the protagonist.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, it's just a deep Greek voice, and I'm not into that. Whereas
Yeah.
Cassandra,
Has personality.
to the
Yeah.
point, what am I talking about? But she's really good.
Cool.
Like, holy shit, like, Cassandra is probably one of my favorite characters of all time in video games.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I think the voice
I
act.
love playing as her. She does a great performance, but in a year where Christopher Judge and Yuri and even Roger Clark.
Yeah, I think this year has been one of the strongest years in video games history for performance.
Yeah.
Like for voice performance, for motion capture, for all those kind of things. It's been one of the strongest, but I think Roger Clark will win that.
I think, for me, the toss-up is between him and Christopher Judge. Because
I don't think Christopher Judge will win it.
from everything I've heard about it, it sounds like Roger Clark will win.
Mhm.
But Christopher Judge, like just my opinion of it, he's a different voice actor from the old Kratos.
Yes.
When I heard that, I'm like, what? That's dumb. But then when you're playing it, one, you don't realise it, and two, they've got an actual actor to act, which
Yes.
is what Kratos has never done before.
Correct.
And like you were saying, we're carrying the weight of the world. I feel Kratos was carrying all the weight of his history.
I will say this. Have you ever seen Stargate?
No.
Okay. Christopher Judge plays a character in Stargate, and in terms of voice, it's very similar.
Yeah.
Now he was a lot younger in Stargate, so it doesn't have that. Well, it's still his voice is naturally deep,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have that much grit to it.
Yeah.
But it still has that very. Like, there are certain moments in God of War where the delivery was made on a line, and I was like, Teal'c?
Yeah, okay.
So it was slightly like, huh? And that's for me though.
Yeah.
But also I feel like there is a possibility and a trap of people just when they look at Kratos in God of War, it is hard for them to get past boy, and that's it.
But boy, was so
I know. And I know in every possible circumstance it was perfect. Honestly, if I was picking it, I would pick Christopher Judge as well.
Yeah.
I just think that given the breadth and what is done with Red Dead Redemption 2, I don't think you can deny Roger Clark's performance as Arthur Morgan being the best of the year.
Yeah. I just want to point a couple of things out.
Absolutely.
Christopher Judge, like the thing, like the performance in terms of like acting as well, like the not touching Atreus, like that's not voice acting, that's performing. Like there's so many like nuanced things that happens in that game, and then with Yuri, he makes you cry at the end of that.
Oh
game.
God, yeah, he does.
Like, holy fuck! Like that is the game. You do not expect that to happen. Like I kind of maybe thought it might happen in God of War. I don't remember it happening. I don't think so.
No.
That game's still very emotional, but Yuri, like he does what Tom Holland does in terms of he sounds a particular way. Tom Holland is really good at playing the scared little boy.
Yeah.
When I hear him, like when Tom Holland's trying to push the building off him, he sounds like what I remember I sounded like when I was fucking scared shitless.
Yeah.
Like the voice cracking and everything.
Yeah.
Yuri does the thing where when he's like crying, he does the voice cracking like in the final boss fight.
Yeah.
Like he breaks.
Yeah.
Like, and you don't hear that from like many performances, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit. Like,
It is a stellar performance. Yeah. Like I said, I think this is the strongest year for voice acting.
I think Yuri, because his emotions are all back-ended, that's why I would like go towards Judge or Roger Clark. But yeah, still both. What a year.
Yeah. I guess, it's tough, but I think it'll be Red Dead. I think it's going to be difficult to beat Red Dead in any category that it's in.
I think the last thing I wanted to say, was that Roger Clark has so many things to do, probably, and like they're all good.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Christopher Judge, all of it's focused.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like they're very like that game is in a similar way to Red Dead. It is meticulous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Red Dead is meticulous worldwide. God of War is meticulous moment to moment, and
Absolutely. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
performance shows in that. And I think I'll probably raise these arguments again later.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I think the thing when it comes to specifically video games and video game awards, oftentimes breadth is better than depth.
Yeah, and I think in this case, like, regardless of your opinion on Red Dead 2, because I know it's decisive, divisive, his performance will be...
It's as I said, even with the amount that I've played, it's fucking spectacular. It's great. Best independent games: Celeste, Dead Cells, Into the Breach, Return of the Obra Dinn, and The Messenger.
I think it's going to be Celeste.
I think it's going to be Celeste too. It just seems to be the game that everyone indie-wise is raving about. I haven't played it yet. I feel like I should. Yeah.
I know everyone was super into Dead Cells, but everyone's like, it's just too long. Like, holy shit! Like, that's not.
It's a bit too much roguelike for a lot of people. Into the Breach is really fantastic.
I don't even know what that kind of game is.
It's like a RTS type, like, yeah, it's a roguelike RTS. It's really weird, but it's really fantastic. It's a really good way for, if you've never played a roguelike, this is a good one to start with. If you've never played an RTS game, it's a good one to start with. It does both really well. And it's on like a bunch of different devices. So Switch, it's on Switch. So yeah, give it a look.
I haven't played too many.
I know people,
either, but if it's a good like entry point.
I know people who have legitimately put 600 hours into that game this year. Yeah.
RTS to be like that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's fucked up. Return of the Obra Dinn's really cool. I like the look.
I've heard good things about it. I'm just not good at puzzle games.
Yeah.
Like,
I like the look of that. But this is the things that make me go, I need to fucking finish building my PC so I can start playing more fucking video games. And yeah, well, that's basically it. Like, I want a PC to play indie games because I don't want to pay out the nose for them, even though I would like to give them more money. But buying an indie game on Switch or anything like that can cost a little bit. But buying an indie game on Steam, that's a lot easier. And the message is really cool, but I just don't think it'll hang in that group. Best audio design: Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Forza Horizon 4, God of War 4, Marvel's Spider-Man, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah. I think this is where God of War wins.
What about his audio? What about his audio do you think?
Everything. The sound effects, the music. The music in particular is one of the things that I love about God of War.
There is a separate category for music.
Yeah, but I think in terms of audio design, like the whole combination of it, like the sound of that dragon when you fight them, the sound of that electricity charging as it comes through, it's all of those little bits and pieces. I think the only other game in here that I think might take it just from a technical standpoint might be Forza Horizon 4.
I think, from technical Forza, the thing I like about Spider-Man is the different line delivery. When you're swinging, there's a different...
I think that's pretty cool.
But apparently Red Dead does that as well.
Yes, they do.
So
yes,
and Red Dead does so much more of it, so that gives it a one-up again.
Yeah, the other thing I like from Spider-Man is how their score is integrated into the world as well.
Yeah,
like
really
when you start swinging and it builds up in that way, it's such a fucking cool moment. But God of War, like it's when Jormungandr speaks and your speakers make that bassy sound that you don't think they should be able to make.
It's just coming out of the TV.
It's just...
I need to replay the game with a good audio system.
You just go buy a headset. Go buy a Sony headset.
Cheap 2.0
No, go buy a Sony headset.
Yeah, this is a Sony 2.0.
No. Go buy a Sony 5.1, either the Gold or the Platinum series.
What would you recommend?
Gold or Platinum.
Okay.
Either one of those two.
$150 extra.
Platinum one's like $250. The Gold one's like $130. It doesn't matter. They're both basically identical. The Platinum one just has the 3D audio capabilities and a little bit it's a little bit bulkier and it's got some other bits and pieces. But in terms of, I currently have the Gold headset. It's perfect. It's fine. And they occasionally go on sale as well. So just keep your eye out over the next month because it's Christmas. But definitely pick up one of the Sony 7.1. Don't get the one that's got the hinges on it because they'll snap.
Okay.
Yeah. Get the one that's a full thing. But get one of those headsets, then put it on virtual surround sound and play God of War. Because also, if you've got a gold or a platinum headset, doesn't matter which one, they developed a specific audio setting for those headsets.
Okay, because with the Sony ones, the 2.0, there are specific ones. Like I'm playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate at the moment, and they've got their own one for that. But I didn't know there was ones for God of War.
Yes, there's ones for God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn. Basically, any Sony first-party one has its own specific setting, and it just that's the moment when the World Serpent speaks, and it just, I've never heard a sound like that before, and it was so cool, and everything about that game sounds amazing. The sound of the wind in Helheim.
Coming through a TV speaker,
just everything. There is no detail in God of War that is not meticulously placed, and that includes its audio design. The things with Red Dead is that it's an open world game. It can be buggy at times, so its audio will skip and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, there's not much in Red Dead Redemption 2 that I haven't seen in other open world games, apart from the double line delivery stuff. But sound effect wise, it's Red Dead Redemption. Okay. It's horses, it's carriages, it's people talking, it's gunshots. That all sounds great. Marvel Spider-Man, again, that thing does an amazing job of making this video game sound like a fucking Marvel movie. From that rising score of even the web swinging and the web shooting. Yes, everything
that's always satisfying because from the vibration to the audio sensatory word to everything is all
And Call of Duty and Forza Horizon 4 I think are great. They look and sound good.
Car games always can sound good because very few things as satisfying as a car starting up
and revving and going through all that kind of stuff, but also the sound effects of their different season things. So the sound of the tires on the mud and the tires on the rain, that different sound effect as well. That's what I'm saying. I would give this one to God of War hands down. The only thing I can see being a hiccup is that technically what they do in Forza Horizon 4 might be more impressive than God of War.
I just don't think enough people have played Horizon 4 versus God of War and Red Dead.
Yeah, I think God of War wins that. I has to. Because it's not just about this thing sounds good. It's that they invented sounds for this fucking thing that sound incredible.
Yeah, which I don't think that happens too often in games. I know movies have done that for ages.
Yeah, but just what they do with the audio design on each individual, the sounds of all the enemies, of all the sound of the Leviathan axe being thrown and then coming back. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else that comes close to it.
I think that makes sense. I can see any winning except for Black Ops winning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think if this was a DICE awards instead, I think that might go to Horizon instead.
Yeah.
Just on a pure technical level, because DICE is devs.
Yeah, devs and technical.
Celebrating devs. But Then we go to school/music.
Celeste, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom, Octopath Traveler, and Red Dead Redemption 2.
I don't know.
I think this one will probably land on either Red Dead or Spider-Man. I think God of War's music is great, but I think Spider-Man, again, like I said, evoking that Marvel cinematic feel. And my favorite thing to do all year so far has been to run through the streets in Spider-Man, jump, hit my webs, and listen to that score kick in just like it would in a movie.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
The thing with that is just the one song. It's really good, and
it's got different arrangement.
Yeah.
Depending on the time of depending how long of the game you're into, it does have a different arrangement. But the music in general, like I said, just sounds like a Marvel movie, and that's good music. Yeah. Red Dead Redemption 2's music is really great as well, though. It is fantastic.
Did they license stuff?
No, I don't think so.
I thought there was vocal songs in it.
But I don't think that's licensed anymore. I'm pretty sure all of that's
in-house.
No, I'm pretty sure all of that's public domain at this point.
Oh.
Yeah, because they're using time appropriate stuff. It's from 1899.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if they're using anything that actually is a song from the time period, it's public domain,
Interesting. Okay.
so it wouldn't be licensed.
I know it was licensed to use the Red Dead one.
Which makes sense
Yeah.
because that's a little bit later in time.
And I think there were just original songs for it as well.
Yeah, I mean there might be original songs as well, but if there is, I haven't run into them. But again, talking about cinematic things, when you enter the cinematic mode and the camera pans around and there's music happening in the background, they do a really good job of making that thing sound and feel like a Western. So I think it's between one of those two. I think they'll probably lean Red Dead. Because like I said, it's really hard to beat Red Dead in any category this year.
And it's like because from what I've heard, Octopath has a good sound.
God, that music is so good. Like if this was me, Octopath Traveler, fuck off, go to hell.
Like, is it just good JRPG music?
Oh, it's better than that.
Well, I mean, like, whether like
No. I mean, it's more than that. It's more than just that. Because it's like, again, it's each individual character has their own theme. Each town has their own feeling. And it's the combination of not just the music, but the way it looks because of the way it's designed and that that paper cutout kind of feel. The music matches the feel, and it can do this thing where the music tells me what's happening. Like you see these little pixelated things that are doing like, JRPG over-exaggerated movements. But because it's a scene with Primrose and the music is as such, I'm heartbroken. And it's just this little pixel thing. And I feel like I'm dying on the inside because the music is so good on that one. That score is incredible. And if it's a left field victory, it's that one. But I think they'll give it to Red Dead.
probably. I feel this would be a much more interesting year if Red Dead didn't come out.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard because this is the kind of stuff that like it's because of its breadth and because it's Rockstar.
Yeah.
And they come out and they swing their open world dick and everyone just looks at it and goes, oh, and then not much else you can do.
I'm just trying to think of a world where Breath of the Wild and Red Dead 2 came out the same year. Because both are weird backwards companies at this point.
Yeah.
Brilliant games.
Best art direction: Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Octopath Traveler, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Return of the Obra Dinn. I think this actually might be a category where Octopath Traveler or Return of the Obra Dinn might be able to nudge out the others.
Maybe?
Just because of the uniqueness.
Yeah.
I actually think this is a bit more of a heart than a head one, but for me, this category is between God of War and Octopath.
That's what I think. Like, I haven't played Octopath The Return of the Obra Dinn, but I played it. I've seen enough of. I don't know. I've seen Octopath Traveler and I like it, like in a 2D HD. Like I like that concept.
Yeah,
I
that's
do wanna
fucking.
play that
It's
game.
fucking
and
rad.
It's like doing the thing of doing what 16-bit RPGs did in terms of like just making you feel.
Oh yeah.
Based on art and music.
Oh, it makes you feel things.
But like. The case for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you are just in Greece. It is the perfect emulation of Greece. Like, Greece is gorgeous. Like, you've seen any tourist photos, they just made that. You're on the beach, it's a sunset. Like, holy fuck.
That's awesome. That's great. That's fantastic.
Like, but that's the thing. It's not.
It's a photorealistic. Yeah, it's a photorealistic representation of something that exists, that already exists.
Yeah.
The thing I like about God of War and Octopath is that they create something that is totally unique.
Yeah, that's my point with that. Like, God of War.
Return of the.
Colorful. Like, there's a lot of snow in that game, but it's also like.
There's a lot of fire in that game. There's a lot of water in that game.
It's a color-coded game. Like, a good video game should be in its suppleness.
Yeah.
But, like, you know things based on color. Like, the Leviathan axe is blue. And then, like, so you always know where it is and all that. But then you oppose that later with the Blades of Chaos.
Being red. Yeah.
Being red. Like, cool. And then you have, I don't know, the poison stuff in that game.
Yeah.
I can't think of any actually, besides gameplay stuff. Like, inside the mountain's interesting. Like, I got lost in there, but.
Whenever it comes to God of War and the way it looks, I always point to the dead giant.
Oh! I'm trying to think of the art direction.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
That, I just remembered. I just forgot it again.
No.
The other realm, the first realm you go to.
Alfheim.
Alfheim.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
It's
Gorgeous.
apocalyptic, but
Yeah.
it's still gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely. All of the realms look really, really good.
Yeah.
That final shot, spoilers, that final shot in Jotunheim when you're looking over the grave, the mass grave of Jotuns just covering the land, like that's an amazing shot. I think it'll win. I think it's kind of unfair because Octopath, like I said, is fucking amazing, but it's a smaller thing. Return to the Obra Dinn is really cool. It looks like if 3D gaming started in the 80s.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's like that, that monochromatic like lines and segments and stuff like the white lines, black background, but 3D. So it's like it's like this alternate universe where we somehow figured out how to process and render 3D images before we figured out how to render color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Really, really fascinating art style, and I really like it. But like I said, I think God of War will win that one.
I think, God of War. Because Red Dead, it's got gorgeous vistas and stuff, which is the West.
Yes,
Which we've seen.
And again,
stuff like that before.
Yeah, again, with God of War, it's the dragons, it's the world serpent, it's
World Serpent is
yeah.
yeah.
It's the world serpent. It's the individual realms. It's the art design on things like Baldur, the way he looks with all those blue tattoos. It's what are the dwarves' names? Sindri and Brock. Yeah, those guys. They look great.
Yeah.
Like it's all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's Tyr's temple. That thing looks incredible. Yeah. I every part of that game is detailed, and I love it. I hope it wins. And if it's not God of War and it's Octopath Traveler, I'm happy.
Yeah. Ongoing game.
Destiny 2 Forsaken, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, Overwatch, or Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. I think the obvious choice here is Fortnite.
Is it the best?
I think, honestly, that it depends on how they want to do these awards, but I think Fortnite is the obvious choice and will probably win. I think the only other option in that list is Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege.
I just don't think enough people played it.
So that's the thing, is that I think there is actually enough people out there playing it, and it has been consistently rated up there.
I think there are enough people playing it. I think the people voting on this are not playing it.
That's true. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. But then I don't think that any of these would work then, because honestly, there's a lot of outlets that are covering Fortnite but not necessarily playing it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that do Destiny,
Mm.
and Destiny Forsaken is a thing.
But also, you got to also remember, I don't think a lot of people are going to be voting on this thing and being like, I've played this the most, so this is the one I'm going to pick. Like, I think a lot of, especially the industry side, will be looking at it like, well, we don't like this game, we don't like that game, but maybe we like this one instead, but maybe actually this one's had the most industry impact and we can't deny it. Every time we open up our webpage, like analytics, this is the thing that gets the most clicks. It's definitely the most, the biggest thing in the year. I just think that it's impossible. Honestly, like, if I'm going to be fucking just pessimistic about this thing, I don't see anything other than Fortnite winning that category.
Yeah, when you go from like an industry perspective, if you go from like...
And honestly, from a perspective of like how they support that game, that thing has a new season every couple of months. Yeah. Constantly new content coming out for it. No Man's Sky had one big update this year that made it closer to the game that they promised than what it was before. Overwatch had like one new character this year so far, two?
I want to say two.
Two new characters?
And the girl who looked like all the other girls.
Right. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege is constantly being updated, but it's always small things. It's balance changes. It's stuff like that. And Destiny 2 Forsaken is not a good expansion to Destiny.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. And I've heard the raids are really good, but that's...
Yeah, the thing is, I'll never see the raids because I don't have 5 other friends who are crazy enough to play that constantly. And it's the problem I've always had with Destiny, is that I can't finish a raid, which is apparently the best part of the game, and also the best part of the stories come from the raids, and I've never seen any of them. Fucking who cares? Yeah, like apart from the streams that I've watched, because I watched like a 16-hour stream where Giant Bomb played through the Taken King's raid, and it was cool. It was cool to see them go through the whole thing. I never played that shit. Yeah, exactly. I would have liked to play it, but no. What's next? Best Narrative. Detroit Become Human, God of War, Life is Strange 2 Episode 1, Marvel's Spider-Man, or Red Dead Redemption 2?
I think it's God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead. Life
Yeah,
is
I
Strange-
don't know why Detroit's on here.
I get why.
Yeah,
Life
it's
is Strange-
it's best narrative, not most narrative.
Argument towards Red Dead as well. Life is Strange is weird because it's just in first episode, which
Yeah, it's a
you
weird-
probably just look
yeah.
at that episode itself, but I feel that game, like all other episode games, need to be taken as a whole.
I-
And it seems like it's a really good episode.
Yeah.
To play.
For me, this is God of War. I think Red Dead 2 story is good. Just
Maybe it's Petropia points.
yeah, exactly. It's a cowboy thing, and at the end of the day, we know where that ends.
Yeah.
Whereas God of War gave us a brand new thing.
The argument I've heard for Spider-Man is that it's one of the best Spider-Man stories ever told, period. It takes Peter and puts him in his own universe and has its own universe and its own events happen. Like, spoilers for Spider-Man, when Miles' dad dies, that's not a thing that happens in the comics. Like, people were expecting his mum to die. When that happened, they were like, what the fuck? Aunt May dying. That's a big...
It's a big deal. It's
like,
a big deal.
Like, in the comics, he fucking sold his wife to the devil, basically, to make that not happen.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, it is one of the best Spider-Man stories ever told.
Yes, I agree with you 100%, and I understand why people would say that that would be a great story. I think that at the end of the day, when it comes to the games industry, that story is no more impressive than an Uncharted.
Okay.
Specifically in Uncharted 4. You know, like it's not a heroes having to make tough decisions is not something we haven't seen in games before.
Fair enough.
Heroes confronting their own mortality or the mortality of a loved one, not something we haven't seen in games before. Like it's a really good Spider-Man story. It's a fantastic story overall.
Yeah.
I think it is. It's not unique. And it's not. I just don't think it pulls enough. I don't think everyone that we think.
Yeah.
Sorry, how am I gonna word this? I don't think everyone that plays games is gonna cry at that ending like I did.
Interesting. I've heard most people did.
I know, and I know that most people would.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I just don't think that the greater, like when you're thinking about, because these are also publicly voted as well, right? There's an element of public vote.
Element of it. I don't know if that plays into the final vote.
Yeah.
I think it's like this is what won with the people who are actually supposed to vote, and this is what the people chose.
Yeah.
I don't think that gets an official reward, but it's
Yeah.
something purely.
I don't think Spider-Man's strength is his gameplay.
Yeah, my thing. I was never like me saying what I said was not me voting for Spider-Man.
Oh, no.
Just
Yeah.
raising the point
Oh,
of, like, Spider-Man's
absolutely.
fucking brilliant.
Yes, 100%. I agree with you 100%. But Spider-Man's story is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I was sitting there going through it, I could not believe what they were doing to me through a fucking Spider-Man game. Like I was sitting there going, what are you... How? How is this good? Which honestly is the same reaction I had to God of War, which was like, what are you doing? How?
The thing with God of War, like I have said all year, the best reboot / God
Sequel.
of War sequel.
Yeah.
It carries the narrative from the original trilogy
While creating a new one.
and Kratos has all that baggage, and like that's a character narrative, and then he's trying to like not have his son to do any of that, trying to make him his own human, not a god.
Yep.
Like there's so many like this is
We need to move on.
yes.
Yes, because we're going to talk about all of the stuff that we're going to talk about in our game of the year eventually, if we keep going this down. But
I'm happy to repoint my but yeah.
I think God of War wins this.
It's fucking stunning. Like how the fuck would
Yeah,
maybe
man.
Not, wait, yeah, I think I would do like movies. Maybe that's what made him so good. That he just went out and experienced the world for a couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Best game direction: A Way Out, Detroit
I'm
Become
fucking
Human.
surprised. I did not realize that came out this year.
Yeah, man, it was early this year. God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, and Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't... Direction... I think they'll give it to God of War. I think because it's a single focused, like Cory Barlog is the game director.
Is the game. Like,
yes.
He does recognize, like, everyone else made this game.
Yeah.
And it is a cooperative experience.
But it's his vision. It's very much like... It's very much like this is the first video game in a long time where I can safely say that I feel very much similar to like a movie. Like we were talking about Christopher Nolan before. When you're making a movie with Christopher Nolan, yes, everyone is there. Yes, there's the sound guys, the lighting guys, the actors, the costumes, the set, all that going on. They're all there, and Christopher Nolan himself would acknowledge that all those people make it happen. But the thing that you see at the end of the day on the screen is the full realization of one person's vision. And that is Christopher Nolan in those movies. When it comes to God of War, I feel like it's the exact same. Everyone put in everything they had to, but that whole video game from start to finish is the full realization of one man's vision, and it's Cory Barlog.
I will say that, like on that point, just nitpicking it a tiny bit, he has said that like some of the ideas were not from him.
Absolutely,
like,
absolutely.
I don't remember, but yeah, there were certain things that were like really obvious and like weren't his decision at all, and like yes, but like on the whole, yes, you're right.
Yeah,
This is a Cory Barlog game, and he did not do God of War 2, which I know he wants to do, and he probably will. If he went on and did something else, whatever, I think people would follow him for that.
Yes,
same way
yes.
people are probably going to follow Tabata.
Yeah, and the same way that people follow Kojima.
Kojima is probably a better example.
Yeah, Kojima's the biggest example I can think of a game director where it's about like everyone works together, but like when you get to the end of the game, like Metal Gear Solid is not a Konami game. It's a Kojima game. Yeah. It's one of the few games in the world that you don't call it, oh, it's the game by Sega or the game by Sony or the game by Microsoft. Yeah. It is a game by Kojima. Yeah. And I think that God of War is the same one. I don't think of God of War as by Santa Monica. I think of God of War as by Cory Barlog, which it sucks for the Santa Monica people. Like they obviously put in a lot of effort into that game and it's a fucking masterpiece on all levels. But game direction, it's gotta be God of War. Yeah. It's got to be.
Yeah,
honestly, and this is the thing I would say, is it can't be Red Dead Redemption 2 because I think the direction of that game is piss poor. Okay. Because it doesn't direct, like in terms of like a full scope of direction, not just in terms of like, we're directing the cutscenes, but in terms of directing the experience so that the player wants to stay in there and finish the world. Red Dead doesn't do that well. Yeah. Red Dead does a really poor job of directing you to the narrative because it's not that game. It wants you to go and do whatever the fuck you want.
But even from the things that I've heard about go and do what you want, it's still not even going in that direction. No. Like if you want to like talk to, like I don't remember the specific example, but it's basically every time everyone gets a legendary hide or whatever.
Yes,
you try and put it on your horse, but then you're like, oh, you have to pick up a side quest from one person.
Yeah.
You have to decide what you're going to do.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a thing. Like, I get the realism of that, but also, someone can just sit on a pedal.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal.
But yeah. I would do that real life. Or, I don't know, walk next to them.
Yeah. Highlight God of War, let's move on. Best role-playing game, which is a fucking weird category to have in 2018. Because every game's a role-playing game.
Yeah, point. For me, it'd be Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah, exactly. See what I mean? Like, there's shit here should be here. Dragon Quest 11, Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter World, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, and Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire.
What this category looks like, I don't know where Pillars of Eternity is, but I think it's Western. But other than that, this looks like, what's the best Japanese game?
Yeah. It's kind of that. And I would put that at probably Dragon Quest 11.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, again, this is me. Like, for me, on this list, Octopath Traveler wins without a fucking second thought. Yeah. But given the way Dragon Quest 11 has been received, I feel like that's probably where it's going to land.
I've not played any of these games. I heard 2 people on podcasts talk about Dragon Quest. Mm-hmm. I heard a shitload of people talk about Monster Hunter World from a perspective like that, maybe, but also I don't think those people who play Monster Hunter World and none of these other games will also vote in this category because you can abstain. Yeah. I feel like for those who are going to vote in this category, they're going to pick either Dragon Quest 11 or perhaps Ni no Kuni 2. I just don't. I mean, I even heard the fervor about Octopath Traveler.
I'm happy to highlight Octopath Traveler as our de facto vote if you're listening, Keely. But like,
I think it is probably more likely to be Octopath than
Okay.
Dragon Quest. Like that's the thing because like Dragon Quest is so like people are scared to get into that. The same way that people are scared to get into.
I really want to play Dragon Quest.
Same. Like,
I really want to play it.
Like, if
Yeah.
I think it's coming to Switch. They'll pick that up next year when it comes to the Switch.
Okay. All right. Let's do Octopath. Let's do that. Let's give Octopath something. Because when we do our Game of the Year, I got some shit to say about Octopath Traveler.
It's a good game.
Motherfucker. Best action adventure game.
Why?
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
The next category.
Best action game.
Best action game. I feel God of War should be in that.
No.
It's also an adventure.
Yeah.
I get it, but the action in God of War is so good compared to those games, which is Call of Duty 4, Dead Cells, Destiny 2, Far Cry 5, Mega Man 11.
Yeah. I'm going to say Dead Cells wins the action, and I'm going to say God of War wins best action adventure.
In terms of, it's interesting because like when I was playing God of War, I felt like I was going through a narrative and a guided experience, which what I wanted, well, what I needed from that game. Assassin's Creed, I felt like I was on an adventure. Like, yeah, this is my Odyssey. I'm going to set out on my boat now. Let's go. Let's travel all of Greece.
For me, it depends on which aspect of action adventure game are they focusing on. Are they focusing on the gameplay portion of action adventure or the narrative version of action adventure? If it's narrative focused, like does it make you feel like you're on an action adventure? Yeah. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. If it's on the actual action adventure that you are on, it's God of War.
Yeah.
The action is way better and the adventure is incredible.
It is.
And I think Dead Cells wins that top one.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, just because everyone's like, that's so good.
Yeah.
It probably will be God of War.
Yeah.
Or
because basically, can we scroll up a little bit just so I can see what it? Yes, it's cool. Basically, I think God of War will win as many of the subcategories as it possibly can because I think they're just going to give Red Dead Redemption 2 Game of the Year. Because your Game of the Year nominees are Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Celeste, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, and Red Dead Redemption 2. And I think Red Dead Redemption 2 will win Game of the Year. Highlight it. We'll talk about it on our Game of the Year podcast. I think it's going to.
There's been so much, like, even, influencers or critics who aren't into Red Dead Redemption 2 for the reasons of, like, it breaks, it does this, it does that. Where it's like, I don't know, Odyssey doesn't break it that much.
Yeah, but I don't think people liked Odyssey.
Yeah, no, they did.
I feel like I felt like from everything I listened to, the general consensus towards Odyssey was, it's good. Okay. It's good. Not that it's great. It's good. Okay. It's a good game. I heard a lot of people saying there's too much. It's way too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I have no time.
And I always feel like that.
Just time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think from what I've heard is that like people who played Origin, and this isn't for me because I don't like deserts, basically. And then like this is the game I wanted Origin to be.
Right.
That's the narrative I've heard.
Yeah, I haven't heard that. I've heard a lot more people saying that Origins was better than Odyssey because Origins even though it's still huge, felt more focused.
There are so many small pros and cons between those two games.
Yeah, yeah.
I
feel like if we trash them both and mix the good parts together, we get a great game. But yeah, I don't see Marvel Spider-Man winning. I don't see Marvel Spider-Man winning this at all.
No.
It's great. It's fantastic. Again, if you got a chance, play that game. It's brilliant. Especially if you're a Marvel fan, it's fucking incredible. Yeah. Monster Hunter World, again, I don't see that winning this category. I think it's because what happens is that they send out a survey to all of the games like industry, and it's like basically it's here's the categories. Each individual media outlet picks a handful of games to go in each category. And then, based on that, they cull down the nominees. So there must have been a fair chunk of people like in the games industry who are like, Monster Hunter World was a fucking great game. And I know that for a fact, A, because I played it, but B, because a lot of the different podcasts and game outlets that I listen to and subscribe to and all that kind of stuff, at the start of this year, all of them are playing Monster Hunter. Every last one of them. Especially people who are like, I hate Monster Hunter games. I love this game. And that's great. Celeste won't win this because it's an indie. It is the gimme. I'm sorry, indie people. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But that is absolutely the, everyone loves that game, but is absolutely the one that is put on that list to be like, and the also ran is, here's your one indie game that did really well.
Yeah, which will get best independent.
Exactly. Yeah. And I should play Celeste, because apparently it's fantastic. I'm going to see what platforms it's on. And
I think it's on everything.
On everything? Is it on Switch?
Yeah.
If it's on Switch, I'm going to get it on Switch.
Apparently you need really good controls for it, so unless you got a pro controller.
Okay. I might get it on PS4 then, if it's on PS4. Yeah. But I think Red Dead will win that. I will be pleasantly surprised if God of War does.
Yeah.
But I think Red Dead Redemption 2 will win Game of the Year.
Just because it's not a... There's too many jank to it.
It's too much. Yeah.
Skyrim one, though.
Exactly. Skyrim is a game that has so much jank. Jank does not disqualify you from being a good game.
Fun.
I think there are other things that disqualify Red Dead from being a Game of the Year contender, but I will talk about those during our Game of the Year. What is this? I'm missing a bit.
This was the predictions. We did a prediction segment.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
I'll quickly run through mine.
Yeah.
Just because it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
These are my predictions we were going to do if we were going to compete for prediction, but we're not.
No.
New Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell will debut because there was a montage scene and they had Sam Fisher's head.
Okay.
Fuck, it's going to happen. Every
All
6
right.
months I'm going to...
All right. Okay. You keep doing that.
I don't know if this is going to happen. I just thought of it when I was brainstorming. Watch Dogs 3 will be revealed.
Yeah.
More of an E3 thing.
Yeah.
Kojima reveals more Death Stranding gameplay. We're still baffled as hell.
Yep.
Anthem will get another trailer. It will be dovetailed into the Dragon Age 4 trailer.
Okay. Yep.
Due to the Russo brothers attending the show, we will see another staging of the Avengers 4 trailer, which will probably come out this week.
This week? Yeah. Yep.
What everyone's saying.
Yep.
And then following that will be the Crystal Dynamics Avengers game.
Okay.
Which will have story, title, and gameplay.
Yep.
Spider-Man Episode 3 will get a trailer here.
Okay.
Because that's due. And then my crazy one was Pokemon Let's Go gets DLC.
Not gonna happen. Not in a million years.
It will be an expansion where we get to visit the Orange/Sevi Islands. It will be the only alternate way to get Mew and/or Meltan. Or Meltan and/or...
Melmetal. You can get Meltan or Melmetal. Not that hard.
Through Go.
Yeah. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
It takes a long time.
To get Melmetal, yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
other
it's
than that,
there.
There's no other way to get Mew except for that stupid 4. Which I'm bitter at. Can't import him. Can't
Yeah.
trade him.
I know. We'll talk about Let's Go the next time I'm on here because I've finished that and I have something. Actually, you know what? We'll talk about it later.
But I want Pokemon to do DLC. I feel that's going to happen.
I feel like that's way more of a
Genetic thing.
the next generation thing because this is still part of Generation 7 and I feel like this is just an introduction for new fans of the series or trying to bring back some old ones, getting some Go people in there. It is a really nice reset, but there's some things that need to be said about Pokemon Let's Go, but we've gone long here, so we should probably wrap it up. Cool. Well, if you did like this, check out our other content. We have a bunch of Let's Plays going up now. We have Amalgam shows and old games labs if you want to listen to us talk about God of War or plagiarism or
Politics on the internet.
Yeah, or E3. Check those out. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Amalgam Show. We can listen to the Amalgam Archaeology series. There's only one episode. There's only one still, right? Yeah, we still need to do another one. Maybe we'll start getting those a bit more rock solid next year. If you have any questions for the show, please leave a comment below or email us at amalgamshow@gmail.com. That is amalgamshow@gmail.com. And if you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe and share. We will see you next time, guys. Bye.